Hello everyone, it's me again. We're in the Chantry again because this is like what? Yeah, it's a fourth episode of Chantry Lectures. Welcome to class. Please sit down, take out your notebooks, and take notes because today's topic is really interesting. One of my personal favorites in the whole wide and dark world of darkness. Namely, Gargoyles. Why it's one of my favorites? Well, I don't know. I just think they're I just think they're neat. Right? I just think they're neat. So yeah, we will be talking about gargoyles. What they were hundreds of years ago. What are they now? What changed in them and other interesting stuff related to gargoyles. Am I allowed to talk about gargoyles? Well, my regent said yes. So I guess the Council of Seven won't be mad at me. I hope. Yeah. But without further ado, let's talk about what actually are gargoyles, and because well they are kinda strange, don't you think? Well, a gargoyle, at least the old term referred what to what we refer to as a gargoyle. Gargoyle is a stone statue, but we're talking about the supernatural gargoyles. So a gargoyle is a pseudo kindred, you could say, like a artificially created vampire, a bloodline artificially created by Clan Tremere in Dark Ages, long time ago. In Dark Ages, yes. Why were they created? Well, when first Tremere became vampires, they needed someone to protect them while they studied the ancient lore and developed blood magic. So they created a ritual, a very advanced and complicated ritual known as At Our Command It Breathes. And this ritual created what we know as gargoyles. So yeah, gargoyles were the creation. This ritual was mastered by the traitor Goratrix and an elder known as Virstania, the mother of gargoyles, the mistress of gargoyles. She was basically their mother, alright? She perfected this ritual and was responsible for creating most of them in the Dark Ages. About this ritual, At Our Commanded Reefs, it's really complicated, really advanced form of thaumaturgy, so Tremere blood sorcery, and it requires very specific ingredients, parts, so to say, to perform this ritual. It's really difficult, it's time consuming and complicated. So first you need a kindred, or few of them, vampires, preferably a Nosferatu, a Gangrel, or a Zimisi. And what do you do with them? Well, you slice them up. Take their arms, their legs, their torsos, heads, and sew them together, and then perform the ritual. So this amalgamation, this sort of a Frankenstein monster you created, it's just part of corpses at this point. You put it either in a coffin, a wooden coffin filled with the ritual's blood, or you put it in a specialized type of gargoyle. What are types of gargoyles? We will get to that in a minute. So you put your soon-to-be gargoyle in one of those two things, and over the span of few nights you perform incantations, chants, you pour your blood, you do magic very intensely over a few nights, And at the end of these few nights, if the ritual is successful, the coffin will break or the specialized gargoyle will give birth to a new gargoyle. And that's how gargoyles are born. So if a Tremere and a Tzimisce, Gangrel and Nosferatu hate each other very much, it can produce a gargoyle. That's a weird way to say it, but yes. So basically that's how you make a gargoyle. It's much more complicated than what I just described, but those are the main points of this ritual. And why do you need Tzimisce, Gangrel or a Nosferatu? Well, that's because there were main three types of gargoyles. There were a little more, but that in a minute. So depending on what blood do you use to create that gargoyle, what parts, if you mix a Gangrel and a Nosferatu, you have something different than you mix Tzimisce and Nosferatu. This would be a different type of gargoyle. So three main types of gargoyles were scouts, so the gargoyles created by mixing Gangrel and Nosferatu parts, and they were, well, as the name implies, scouts to do espionage, stalking, stealth missions, stuff like that. The reconnaissance. The sentinels were created by mixing Nosferatu and Tzimisce parts, and they were basically guardians tasked with protecting a chantry, a laboratory, a library, an important location to its creator. And the third type were warriors. You get them mixing Gangrel with a Tzimisce, and basically they were warriors, like Tzimisce Szlachta, basically. Send them to battle to win your fight. So these are the three main types of gargoyles, and there are a few more bizarre, rare, uncommon, so to say, types of gargoyles. I won't go over all of them because they are really minor, non-essential, but one of these was called Hexaped. I hope that's how you pronounced it, because it's a weird name. And hex, 6. Hexaped, you had 6 limbs, arms. They were like a medium-sized gargoyle, 6 arms, intelligent, basically like a dog. They were useful for, also for stealth, very specialized breed, you can call it. Of course, there were many more, but, well, if you know what to do, how to modify the basic ritual, then you basically can create infinite number of gargoyle types. But those 3 were the main ones: the scouts, sentinels, and warriors. And, well, gargoyles at this point in history, in Dark Ages, these 3 types, they were infertile. Their vitae was unable to create ghouls, create blood bonds, or embrace a new gargoyle, so it was basically useless. It was still kinda kindred vitae, but it didn't have the properties to embrace, ghoul, and etc. So gargoyles were basically Tremere interns, to not say the S word, because this video might get taken down. So interns, and they didn't mind for the most part. Of course, the kindred they were made out of did mind, most likely, because none of the character memories from the donors of the parts to create the gargoyles, it didn't pass to the gargoyle, so it was like a new being completely. And, well, gargoyles, well, grotesque creatures, still are. For me, they are beautiful, but 4-meter tall, gray skin, horns, tails, wings, rocky skin. Well, yeah, kinda grotesque in some tastes. And yeah, for most part, they were interns for the Tremere until the mid 15th century, when the so-called Gargoyle or slave revolt happened, and many gargoyles rebelled and escaped from their Tremere bosses, employers, creators. You catch the drift. And, well, most of them were either hunted down, they died on their own because they didn't know how to survive in the wild. They were either killed by werewolves or hunters or stuff. So yeah, and those that survived, actually, they adapted really well. The three types that I mentioned, they like blended into one. The distinguished features between the many types, like blended into one. One bloodline appeared, and they gained the ability to embrace, to create ghouls, to create blood bonds. How did they evolve like that? Was it because they kinda related to Gargoyles? And as we know, Clan Gargoyle is known for their mutability, adaptation. Their blood is very mutable. It changes depending on the circumstances. It can adapt, evolve, and maybe the same happened to Gargoyles. So they were suddenly able to embrace, to create blood bonds, ghouls. And they also developed their now signature discipline of Visteratica. It's kind of a mix of a Tzimisce vicissitude powers and gangrel protein. It's very versatile and interesting thing, actually. Many gargoyles like to talk about it if you ask them nice enough. Like this fella right here, right? Right. He's an intern. He's not an intern, he's a friend. Don't worry about him. So Visteratica basically gives gargoyles a limited ability to manipulate their body, to become invisible, for example. Not like the obfuscate invisible, but like literally blending into your surroundings, like a chameleon. Or you can harden your skin even more. It literally becomes rock, so you're more resilient to damage, to even fire and stuff like that. You can pass through walls, through concrete. You can like sink in the ground if it's made out of rock or rocky something, and move through it, like swim in concrete, slowly but still. Some even are rumored to, the elders of gargoyles are rumored to survive in sunlight if they like are statues, don't move throughout the day, and then they can survive like that by pretending to be statues. Well, that's one of their main survival techniques, to pretend to be the gargoyles that you probably think about when you go for a walk in the city. It's really easy for them. You know, they look like gargoyles. They are named gargoyles. So that's basically where they are now. They're mainly part of a camarilla, and when the camarilla actually was created, when gargoyles were recognized as, you know, beings, living beings, unliving beings, kind of kindreds. Like I said, they are artificial bloodline, but bloodline nonetheless of Tremere. The creation of gargoyles was prohibited, so Tremere couldn't do that anymore. Of course, some did in secret, but officially the ritual was banned. Its knowledge lost and known only to the select few who either practiced it before or found some old notes or grimoires. Yeah. And many gargoyles also are part of the anarch movement. Some even are rumored to be part of Sabbat. So they are everywhere. They can embrace. And to talk about their embrace, you know how when Nosferatu gives a mortal their embrace, the mortal is subjected to a terrifyingly painful transformation where they twist, they become a Nosferatu, right? So with gargoyles, it's similar, but I dare to say even more painful. You grow taller, you grow wings, horns, your facial structure reshapes, your skin, your flesh becomes almost like a rock, literally. And many gargoyles, newly embraced ones, suffer from severe memory lapses. They don't remember anything because the embrace is so traumatic. So that's that. If you have a gargoyle friend and you're a mortal, think twice before letting the beautiful gargoyle embrace you. Yeah. And yeah, many gargoyles also work with Tremere nowadays after the fall of Vienna, Chantry Vienna. Not as interns, but as somehow equals. I pay you or give you shelter and stuff, and you help me guard this location. All right, we have a deal. You're not my intern. You're my business partner, associate, something like this. Like this little fella and others in the Chantry. Because yeah, we have gargoyles here. They're here over on their own free will. And to talk about their free will, besides being, giants, stone creatures with almost demonic features like horns and wings, their minds, they're easy to manipulate through unnatural means, like using dominate and stuff. They are very susceptible to manipulation. Mostly because they're hundreds of years of being slaves and basically brainwashing, and the ritual that created them made them that way. So yeah, these are and were and still are the gargoyles most people actually think about when they think vampire gargoyles. So yes. But in the modern nights, we actually saw the creation of another type, not really connected to the stone fellas. I call them gargoyles. Ghoul, gargoyle, yeah. All gargoyle ghouls. They are basically just normal ghouls enhanced with blood sorcery. So a blood sorcerer of any clan, actually, who has enough knowledge and ability in their blood sorcery art, can create such a ghoul. And these ghouls are more powerful than the normal ghouls. When you make a ghoul, they become stronger. They can use some very, very, very basic discipline powers. They heal faster, age slower, and they are very, very like you. And gargoyles are kinda different. They're stronger than normal ghouls, more resilient. They can use still very basic discipline powers, but a little more advanced, like level 2, let's say, while normal ghouls can use level 1. So that. And these gargoyles are almost always bound through blood sorcery ritual to a single location, like a Tremere Chantry, a warehouse, a laboratory, or house, haven, whatever. And they can't leave, really. So either they like it or not, they can't leave. But when they are in this location, they actually are more dexterous. They know how to move through the space of this location. They have this special connection to the place they were bound to that gives them, well, sort of natural advantage, a natural magical advantage. They can't really use magic, blood sorcery, unless their master, their creator teaches them. And for the most part, they look like normal humans, unless the creator is a Zimitsi or practically sadistic Tremere. Then they can change them and make them look more like the stone gargoyles. Zimitsi can make their Gargoyle have wings, horns, claws, and yeah, all of these gargoyles, ghouls, are very dexterous, good at parkour at their chosen location that they're bound to. But they're still basically mortal. They're still ghouls. Better ghouls, but ghoul is a ghoul still. They are not kindred, they're not homunculi. There's something in between a ghoul and a homunculi, actually. They're still made out of mortal. You give them blood, make some magic, and we have a gargoyle. I call them that, it's not an official name. But, well, there you have it. I talked about gargoyles. I hope you like this topic. There's actually a lot to talk about when it comes to gargoyles, but it's really minute details like the types I mentioned before, the hexaped, the other minor uncommon gargoyle breeds. And well, that's that. I hope you like this lecture because, well, I love gargoyles. You can probably hear excitement in my voice while I'll talk about them. But yeah, if you have any questions, please ask in the comments. If I missed something, remind me in the comments. But I think I talked about the most important things. And this right here is, well, the old symbol for gargoyle bloodline, the stone ones, not the gargoyles, because they're ghouls, not kindred. That's that. So thanks for watching, and take care of your gargoyle friends. See ya.